I'm DiDi, and I've worked in coffee for over a decade. I love coffee, and as much as I've learned about coffee in that time, my desire to learn more has only grown. Coffee is a daily, simple pleasure to us, and I love that. But it's also fun to explore the complexities, not only in flavor, but where it comes from, how it's made, and what it says about us. There's still so much to discover. In this show, I'm talking with coffee people in and around my hometown of Atlanta to seek deeper insights, explore the future of the beverage, and find out what makes us tick. This week, we are in Athens, Georgia, making espresso at home with Chef Hugh Acheson.
This week we're going to talk about dialing in espresso on an espresso machine. So let's say you just got an espresso machine for Christmas from your mom, or you just got a job at a fancy tech place that has a sweet coffee setup. How do you use an espresso machine if you've never worked in a cafe or got any training? Well, we're going to show you how to use some tools that you can consider tools in your toolbox and how to make a great shot of espresso. Those tools include dose, like how much coffee to put in your portafilter, time, like how long to let it extract, and grind setting, how big the particle sizes are. Just remember that there's not a perfect shot of espresso, but there is something that you can go for that you like. Remember to have fun with it and enjoy. Making the jump from brewed coffee at home to espresso, how did you know what to buy?
Machine-wise or coffee-wise?
Machine-wise.
Well, just because of the shops and at the restaurants, we all have La Marzocco stuff, so I'm pretty familiar with them and the technology. And the Linea Mini is really just the same as a big Linea, except it's just pared down.
Does the job.
Does the job.
Cool.
Mighty cute, too.
I think the hinge is the grinder.
Mm-hmm.
So the quality of the grind is going to hugely impact the flavor of the coffee.
Yeah.
And I think that goes with the home espresso machine too, where it definitely helps to have a double boiler espresso machine to execute the correct amount of pressure in both espresso and steam.
Yeah, and the steam function is really important too, and just keeping up. A lot of the other units just don't keep up on steam, so. And then when you're talking about home brewing and pour overs and simple brewed coffee, I mean, burr grinders are cheaper than ever. I've got a Bodum over there that I think was on Amazon was like $60, and it's great, and it works really well. It's really clear and powerful and simple. I mean, obviously, a Luigi is going to be a lot more expensive, but when it comes to espresso grind, it's more difficult to pull off that type of grind in even a Bodum burr. So.
Yeah, the closest I've seen is the Barazza line.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say you're having a brunch party and you want to make 10 cappuccinos or 10 shots in a row. Those types of grinders, I feel, become limiting.
Yeah, I got to be honest, I'm never going to have a brunch party.
So I'm a little thirsty.
Are you?
Yeah.
Because I love tennis.
Okay. All right, so I've got the La Marzocco Linea Mini. It's really nice handling the weight of this.
Mm-hmm.
It feels very sturdy. But what's especially nice about having that metal weight in the portafilter is that heat retention, so hot water hits the coffee, and that hot water, all of that energy of the heat is going into the extraction process instead of being
Being a very flimsy piece of metal.
Right, and that heat is just going out immediately, right? Or into your hand, worst case scenario. Anyways. So I've got a portafilter here, 2 spouts on it, and a perforated basket inside where the espresso goes, right?
Mm-hmm.
First step, you're gonna purge your group head. Nice. It's gonna release any coffee oils that were existing on the screen from perhaps your previous extraction. Also get that group head up to temp. These machines do have a fully saturated group, so there is hot water circulating through here and keeping this all hot. I'm doing something though that I hate to see in the shop, and I'm using this like a microphone.
Right.
I'm not in the process.
Stop breathing on my coffee thing.
I'm not in the process of making coffee. Like why is this out, and why does that matter?
Because of heat retention?
Yes, exactly. Like you want everything to be hot and ready to go. You've got your hot portafilter ready in your hand, and you're going to put how much coffee in here?
Well, that's a 21 gram basket.
Okay.
So I would assume we're gonna put 21 grams in.
We can start there. But really you can, depending on how the coffee tastes or how you want it to taste, you can put anywhere from 16, 25 grams in a basket. Obviously the basket size does impact the way that coffee moves in there under pressure, but we'll start with 21. So I've tiered out the portafilter on the scale, and then I can just throw coffee in here in a nice even pattern. It's a nice mound in the center. Mm-hmm. I can push it around a little bit and flatten it out in a minute, but before I touch it, I want to see where I'm at. All right, not even 18 grams, I got a while to go.
Explain the grind consistency that you're looking for, because a lot of people I think grind not finely enough or over. This is almost the consistency of a flour.
The grind size, the changes you can make to adjust the flavor, you cannot really see that with your eyes. You have to taste it. So yes, it is helpful that you're looking for this almost powdery grind that, you know, you can feel the dust in your hand, but it's like a radio where you're tuning into a station. So you're gonna be changing that grind setting, going finer or coarser, and then suddenly it's gonna come in clear. It's like sweetness and acidity are just kind of out of whack on both sides, and then suddenly they sync up and it's like, oh, raspberries. It's awesome. So it looks like a lot of coffee. I don't know, like, let's say you're
How many grams is it?
This is 22 grams.
Okay.
So I'm gonna settle it a little bit. I can use the fork on the grinder to pack it down a little. You just wanna be careful when you do this, because the goal is to get it go straight down. You don't wanna shift it to the side, because then you'll have uneven extraction. So I'm gonna settle it straight down. So now it's been knocked down a little bit lower, and it makes it easier for me to distribute the coffee. Basically what I'm doing is preparing the bed for even extraction as best as I can. I still have some gaps around the side, no big deal. So take your tamper. This is nice, got a good weight to it. I like to hold it like a doorknob. Find that to be very convenient for me. Pressing down on your coffee like this is gonna hurt your wrist after a while, so.
Let's tamp. Let's tamp. Put on your
all right, once it's locked and loaded, I'm turning it on immediately. And I'm setting a timer.
That was fast.
Very fast.
That was very fast.
It was less than 10 seconds.
That was very fast.
Ooh,
45 and a half grams of coffee.
Yeah, that is what we call
your ideal, that's a long shot.
That is a long shot. And we make these judgments on this output based on what we put in. So we put in 20-ish grams and we got out 40-ish grams. You can call that a 1-to-2 ratio. That's like on the far end of things.
So what is your ideal?
With coffees that I'm familiar with using on a regular basis, I find that a 1 to 1.5 ratio tends to suit those coffees better.
So 20 grams, we're getting 30 grams of finished espresso.
Precisely. But we'll have to see what this coffee wants and what I want.
But that's the interesting thing about coffee is I think there is the basic Lego pieces of building good coffee, which are very objective. And then we add the nuance and subjectivity of what's good? What are you dialing in for? What do you like? And that becomes a very subjective realm. So it's very hard to teach the subjective. Okay, if you're pouring to 30 grams of finished espresso, I mean, is that constituting a ristretto? So
that 2005 shot of espresso, that really thick, concentrated, syrupy, that's ristretto. And that's like a 1-to-1 ratio.
Right. Where you're coming really to like this much coffee. Mm-hmm. And then everybody would get it in a cafe and go, what the f*** could I pay for?
$3.
And yeah, that's not cool.
Yeah, so let's have a longer experience, have a better flavor story maybe in that espresso.
I gotta be honest, it tastes like coffee.
It does just have that coffee-y flavor, but maybe that's because we associate that coffee-y flavor with just bitter too. So with bitter coffee that's coming out super fast, we call that under-extracted. And there are two things we can do now to get this closer to what we want, maybe something a little sweeter, a balance of sweetness and bitter. We could increase the amount of coffee in the portafilter.
But you're already at 22 in that one, so I wouldn't increase that. So you want to change your grind.
So you're not going to really be able to see that change, but you're gonna, in terms of the way it looks and feels in your fingers, but you're definitely gonna see
You're
it.
gonna taste it.
So machine's running, and the first drops of espresso came out at 22 seconds.
I'm thinking it's gonna be relatively syrupy and extraordinarily bitter.
It is extraordinarily bitter, but also extremely sour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is amazing, like the difference in taste that you can get from just a small increase in grind fineness. So let's try something in between. And should we lighten our load a little bit? This is really not very good. I'm fucking Jackson Pollocking over here. That's awesome. I think that's the best yet. It's a little dusty.
Woo! Yeah. I was gonna say waxy.
Waxy. Dusty and waxy do not mix.
No.
I'm thinking like Dusty Rhodes, the wrestler though, like taut, bronzed, aggressive.
I'm gonna make it just a little bit finer.
You're gonna make it finer. Still doing 20.
And I'm going to also make an adjustment. I'm gonna do two things at once.
What's the other adjustment?
I'm gonna take the dose down a little bit to 19 grams.
Whoa, she's going to 19.
Yeah, 1 gram. Little movements, big improvements.
So basically, if you really want to do this at home, you need to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and you'll have a really good cup of coffee by 9:30. Are we ever gonna get to a finished cup of coffee? Is this good? Is this drinkable?
Good.
Did you like this?
That is good coffee.
That's really good coffee. I mean, it's definitely a treat to have, tools like this to make really good coffee at home. And it kind of changes the way you do it. It's funny, I really don't go out for coffee anymore in Athens. I mean, I go out when I'm traveling in Atlanta and stuff, but we can get work done here and drink good coffee, so it's good, it's enjoyable.
Thank you for letting us crash your pad, and
Welcome anytime.
Thanks for getting me really caffeinated.
Brunch party.
Now here's the captain getting aboard our yacht, Miss Daisy.
Oh, it must have been such a nice vacation. Did you ever see Larry looking so happy?
Oh, honey, happiness is a vacation. Away from your coffee.
We'll admit it, honey. Your coffee is pretty bad.
Oh, maybe he's right, Mrs. Olson. You make me feel very unwifely, McNaughton. Go barbecue.
I still say don't serve your awful coffee with my steaks.
Oh, I told you the PTA's coming tonight, George. I'm too busy for nonsense.
Gonna serve your coffee?
You joke about my coffee again. You hear, Mrs. Olson? Like a broken record.
Honey, all I said was...
I don't make good coffee.
No.
Mrs. Olson? Oh, I'm afraid he's right.
How can such a pretty wife make such bad coffee?
I heard that.
Mary. Oh, Mrs. Olson, he's always ranting about my coffee. But I guess it really isn't any good.
Oh, now, good coffee's no problem. All you need is a coffee with better flavor.
Maybe you should try mountain grown coffee.
Mountain grown?
Oh, that's the richest kind. Bet your husband tastes the difference. This'll help.
Mountain grown really better?
That's the richest coffee.
It's mountain grown coffee. Mountain grown?
That's the richest kind. You try it. Yeah, good coffee's no problem if you use a coffee with better flavor. It's mountain grown coffee.
Mountain grown?
Yeah, that's the best coffee. The richest kind. It's mountain grown coffee.
Is mountain grown better?
The richest kind. Good coffee's no problem. Just use a coffee with better flavor. Mountain grown coffee.
Mountain grown?
That's the richest kind. Well, what's the matter with your coffee, Diane?
Wish I knew. I just can't seem to make good coffee.
Oh, good coffee is no problem if you use a coffee with better flavor. Mountain grown coffee.
Is mountain grown any better?
That's the richest kind. Good coffee is no problem if you use a coffee with better flavor. Mountain grown coffee.
Mountain grown?
That's the richest kind. You try it.
You try it. Okay. Hope Herb likes it.
Honey, why don't you try it?
Okay. Right now.
Honey, you surprised me. Your coffee's terrific. How can such a pretty wife make such great coffee?
I heard that.
Try Folgers, the mountain-grown coffee. Mountain-grown for better flavor.
I hope you had as much fun as I did hanging out with you and making coffee. Catch you later. I love you. Bye-bye.